Hey everybody, do you want to get a job? Do you want to get the perfect job? Do you want to land that job by doing an excellent, awesome interview? We're going to find out how right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Minto Roy is a name that's familiar to people that are looking to start new careers or continue the one that they're in a more successful light. He's the man behind Premier Career Management Group, and he, of course, hosts Careers Today, Saturdays, 3 p.m. on CFUN. How are you, Minto?
I'm great. Thanks
nice
for having
to
me
see
on.
you. Thanks for joining us.
So you want to be a rock star now after seeing Justin on our
I do.
show?
I want Justin's life, to be young and to be a rock star.
You're going to have to go back and rework your resume, man, because I think the resumes for rock star versus business are a little different.
I still have the ego to be on stage, I just don't have the talent.
Welcome to the club. You're in the group. Right now.
Is it a hot job market right now?
Yeah, the labor market's red hot, and we're fortunate to be on both sides of the hiring desk. I mean, so many fantastic companies that are looking for talent, and they're willing to give all sorts of perks and incentives, and then I meet so many fantastic people that are frustrated with finding great careers, and you think, wow, how come these people can't find each other?
Yeah, well, and that frustration can be with a lot of different areas. It can be with salary, but it can also be with advancement in careers and things like that. So maybe we should start from sort of step one, and the first thing that people usually think about when they're talking about job searches is writing the resume. What is it that people sort of don't do properly with resumes?
Well, let me kind of shift the paradigm. I think most people have to be much more future focused with their resume writing, not past focused. And I always tell people that I'm talking to, think about this. Employers today, I believe, want to know far more about what people can do for them in the future, not what they've done in the past. But the only thing your resume talks about is
the past.
Right.
That's a really interesting point to bring up because, you know, obviously if you've been called in for an interview, you're a talented person, that sort of thing, and telling somebody the job that you had 8 years ago is not necessarily going to forward you with whatever career you're pursuing now.
Absolutely. You know, I always tell people to get over it. Nobody cares what you and I did 5 years ago. It's over. It's about where you're going to take this tomorrow. How are you going to bring value? And your past is relevant to you, but what you're focused on in an interview is what you're going to do for the company in the future, not
So
the
say you
past.
find a job advertisement, somebody's looking for someone to fill a position.
Right.
Should you write your resume for every job that you're applying for so that you are talking specifically to that company, or is there a more generic way of purposing your resume that way?
I think you should. You should take as much knowledge about the challenges and the problems that the company has that you're targeting, take a full, deep understanding of what you can do for that opportunity, and present what I call a value proposition document on what you can do for them in the future. And don't send a past document.
Value proposition document.
Well, and the other word that sort of triggered for me when you were talking is targeting. What does that actually mean in the context of finding a job?
Well, I think you should make a commitment to have a strategic plan of action to find a new career. Most people that I talk to...
Well, wait a second. That sounds like work.
It's a tremendous amount of work, but it's, you know, we always talk about it's the second most important thing in your life. It's where you're going to spend 8 to 10 hours a day, just behind your family and your health. How can you not have a tactical, competitive strategy that's targeted towards where you want to go in the future for something that's so relevant, that's going to make such a huge impact in your life? So you got to be more future focused with your resume.
So say you're in a job that you're not happy with right now. What is the best avenue to take if you do want to change your career and kind of start over? Should somebody go to a headhunter? Should they just, like, where do people find out about all the great opportunities that there are out there?
I think you should go to the newspapers and the internet and, you know, seek out some of your advice from your friends and colleagues. But you've got to remember that there's something called the SME market, which is small to medium-sized companies. They make up 95% of the hiring out there. But most people typically target the huge organizations like the major banks or the major corporations out there. Target the smaller and medium-sized companies that have huge opportunities for growth for themselves and your career.
And for you as well. Well, and when you're going in and you're talking to them, what should be your strategy when you're in the interview, when you're thinking, okay, let's advance a little bit. Let's talk about, you've probably got the job or you've got the job. How do you bring up things like salary? That can be a really uncomfortable conversation for people. And not just salary, but other forms of compensation as well.
Well, I think you've got to first try to strategize what is the company going to make or save by my role being embedded in that company. You know, how does your position make the company money or save the company money? And if you have a tactical understanding of that, and if you don't, you can just ask the employer, Mike, how have you guys calibrated how this company is going to make the company money or save the company money with the right person doing the job properly? And the answer will come out, and you're just looking at taking a proportionate amount of money for your salary.
We are like a black hole sucking money out of the company down here.
That's what we do.
Actually, I bet you guys are very underpaid for what you bring into shop.
Sorry, I just want to make sure everyone was listening
Our
to
senior
that.
producer in my ear just
everybody
said,
got
"No,
that?
you're not."
Underpaid. Underpaid. Let's talk about one of the things you wanted to talk about was strategy. Looking from, is it top down or bottom?
Yeah, you want to work your job search from the top down, not the bottom up. Think about the job market like a pyramid, like a company. You know, if you're going after a job at 60, 70,000, talking to people inside of a company that make 30 to 40,000 doesn't make sense, because very few people by human nature are motivated to see you come into their company and have a better life than you do based on their based on their work. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So you want to work the job search from the top down. Think about senior executives. If they're going after jobs at 100, 200,000, here's what they don't do. Well, I think I'm going to send my resume into the secretary of the junior HR making 30 to 40,000. They don't do that. So if they're executing the strategies from the top down, the average job seeker can really do the same thing.
Well, thank you so much. If you want to get more advice from Minto, you can certainly do so by listening to him Saturdays at 3 o'clock on CFUN. Thank you so much.
Minto, thank you.
Thank you.
Just undervalued. I learned a lot from this interview.
I think we should go on strike.
I don't really think that's a good idea.
I'm out.
Okay, we're going to take a break, and when we return, Tom Cochran is performing with John Cougar at the Pacific Coliseum tonight, and he performed in our studio not too long ago. Right after this, we'll be showing you that performance.
All right, I think I proved my point.
You did.
Thank you, Minto. That's great.
Prayed for salvation, I stood by my cause, delivered some blows like sweet Santa Claus. Didn't hurt no one, but some they might have hated me.